What's up, everyone? Rachel West here, back with Bucs reporter Rick Stroud to break down the Bucs loss to the Chiefs. And Rick, let's start with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill were just on another level tonight. Carlton Davis clearly struggled covering Hill, right?
Yeah, he really did. They didn't give him much help. I thought a few times they should have had a safety over there that was a little late. It was a rough first quarter, really. I mean, I think more than 200 of his 269 yards came in the first quarter. They fell behind 17-0, and that's not where you want to be against the Kansas City Chiefs. But credit the defense and the Bucs for staying in this game, getting it back to a field goal game with 4 minutes to play. Unfortunately, Mahomes was able to get a couple first downs, mostly scrambling. They did a good job of covering up his receivers, but he was able to get out of the pocket a few times, and they fell short. But this is a disappointing loss for a lot of reasons, and not the least of which is another slow start for this team, which I think has been outscored 49-7 in the first quarter of the last 4 games. So they've got to start faster, and they know it.
Yeah, their beginning of the game struggles definitely evident tonight yet again. But they were able to mount a little bit of a comeback, made it interesting there at the end. But the miscues along the way really did them in ultimately. So just how big were some of those miscues, the penalties, and Brady's 2 second-half interceptions?
Yeah, well, they were huge because, again, they had a chance to get back in that game. I thought Brady played much better. He hit a couple deep balls today. We saw that. But the 2 interceptions, one was a deflection off a guy's helmet, essentially. He had a lot of pressure. This ball was actually down the field a little bit when it was ricocheted up in the air. The other one to Scotty Miller was just a poorly thrown ball. It was a little underneath. He had guys in his face. I thought that was the problem a lot tonight, was that Brady wasn't able to really step into some of his throws, at least the ones that he missed. But again, he had gone into this game 0 for 19 or so in his last 3 games on balls down the field, and he actually hit a couple. And I thought that was promising, but they got to avoid the slow starts. Being down 17-0, I think, that game could have gotten away from them and been very ugly. So you credit for Tom for bringing them back. And had they gotten the ball back again in the fourth quarter, 4 minutes to go, down by a field goal, who knows what he does. But yeah, those 2 interceptions on that side of the field as well, on the Chiefs side of the field, really hurt.
Right, yeah. A loss is still a loss, but maybe they can take a little solace in the fact that they did come back there. But now moving ahead, looking at the playoff picture, now that they sit at 7-5 on the season, where do they stand?
Well, they actually aren't in bad shape. In terms of they're probably not going to win the division, but I think we knew that last week. They got a little bit of help. The Cardinals got beat, I believe, as did the Rams to San Francisco. They didn't lose any positioning if the playoffs were today. They'd still be the 6th seed, not exactly where they want to be. But the loss didn't affect their standing in the NFC in terms of the postseason. And they've got 4 very winnable games. They've got to finish the last quarter strong. 2 against Atlanta. They come back after this bye week, which is much needed to get some guys healthy. Some guys were playing hurt. They'll play Minnesota, and then they finish up with Detroit. So this team could still win 11 games, and I think that would be enough to get them into the postseason, and that's what they got to focus on.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, they do have a week off to kind of regroup, get some guys healthy. So we will be checking back in, not next week, but the following week as they take on the Minnesota Vikings. But in the meantime, everyone, be sure you follow along with Rick on Twitter for all the updates in those couple weeks. And as always, be sure you're checking out tampabay.com for your full Bucs coverage.